decent opportunity here, given that CIS Hope is 3-0 here on Eichenwald. You go over to Horizon Lunar Colony, and Angry Titans is 1-3. The only map win that they have on that particular map was off of just being able to exploit Urki on the high ground on Junkrat on point B. And after that, they just really haven't been as successful. And then you go over to Oasis, and it's, again, just another map where I think that they have a decent shot. Yeah, that's probably the map that Angry Titans looks the best on, I would say, out of these three. But unless CIS Hope have definitely done their fair share of good work on that map themselves. But starting things off here, what do we got?
We got both McCrees on both sides, as Urki is gonna look to match Kenzie. However, seems like the defensive side will have a small advantage. Onigod, though, making it solve with Apox. Ooh, hook goes in, catches a Reinhardt, but not gonna find a kill, and as a result, still nobody going down. And Lulzish barely managing to stay alive with that charge, but again, it will be a fix, catching another one with a hook.
So something that's interesting is that they haven't really gotten to the point just yet. It took them 45 seconds to get there, despite the fact that they just walked through the archway at first. And Urki going for a Deadeye, he's going to be forced to drop it very quickly, just about as quick as he pulled it up. And Kenzie now going with one of his own. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to connect on anything, but has maybe an opportunity, won't be able to get it. Urki taken down low, and again, this push is just very slow. Very, methodical in the way that they're approaching this fight, and they're trying to get something done here. Graviton comes down, cleave damage looking like it's going to come out from Lulzish. They find a kill inside of it. He's just ever closer to having that Earth Shatter. We've seen him do massive stuff with that in the past, but they won't need it here to close this one out. Urki going to shut down that whole hog with the flashbang, find that kill. We'll be able to find main as well, but in the meantime, they've already gotten 2 ticks. They will secure the third as well, and Lulzish coming back from respawn here. They have 5 ultimates in tow compared to the 4 that CIS Hope have, with unfixed 1%. His Graviton now.
We'll be looking to match Onigod, who has been having an absolute blast on that Zarya this round. Definitely enabling his team to take that point, managing to find Eng in that engage, who had the sound barrier at the ready, but was killed off first. And now with the Earth Shatter, Lulzish pulls it out again, gets a triple out of it. In terms of those members on the ground, we'll see, however, the likes of Shuri trying to answer, but it's going to be all about Angry Titans as they come out on top with another win. Onigod getting really close to that second Graviton, and if they keep up the momentum, they are definitely in shape to take a really quick checkpoint coming up next year.
Let's see what Onigod can get done. They want to be able to kind of hold this aggressively, give time for their Zarya to maybe generate another ult. They're just going to start off with Afox just throwing in a Coalescence right through that hallway, getting aggressive. Now Lulzish charges forward. They find the kill onto main. This is something we saw in King's Row as well, where Lulzish was able to get the upper hand in the Reinhardt fights. It looks like that might be continuing here against a very capable Sharik. I mean, you're talking about a very strong Reinhardt player there, and Lulzish still looking fantastic. And that time is all they needed for Onigod to be able to get his Graviton surge up. He's going to throw it down. They get him inside, but Deadeye still out, and so is the sound barrier. Can they find the kills? It doesn't look like it's the case, as Elivote falls as well.
Oh, but Lulzish gets another one onto Eng, but the answer is still there as main gets a kill of his own onto Lude, who could potentially be enough to sway things around as the staying power is lessened. Onigod is going to go down. Urki sniped by the first strike. Lulzish takes a deep dive into those river waters, and now Afox resetting as well. It will be CIS Hope finally getting a good hold started out on Eichenwald.
Now we'll see if they can hold it out here, or if they're going to be taking it into that final stage, where it's a little bit easier, I would say, for them to hold out with this type of composition. And Kenzie, you might see him, if it gets to that stage, go to a Junkrat or something like that. We've seen that before as well, but now looking like they're going to be slowly pushing up onto this payload, trying to figure out where they want to approach from, trying to win that barrier fight. And if they can do that, it'll be a big opening for them to throw down the Earth Shatter. They lay 2 on the floor. Shark doesn't go down, but still an opening as main falls. Onigod in the back line is cleaning things up. Already 2 kills, make it 3 for him as he kills off Zhao as well. They find the kill on Kenzie, and it was all Onigod after we saw Lulzish lay them out. Wow. Incredible Tracer play again from Onigod.
And Lulzish still so successful on that Reinhardt, makes it easy for his team to win the team fights. And now on the defensive side, Onigata will try to go for the pulse bomb, does not connect. However, we'll see Zhao being on point there with the Matrix, and now we'll see whether or not this next contest will be good enough for them to find something done here, as Onigata still lurking off on this side. We'll look for the supports. We'll, however, see Zhao be brought extremely low, finally gets desuited, as it's going to be another T5 win for Angry Titans, who finds Kenzie with an air shatter, but no kill secured. Onigata still finding the kills they need. Coalescence comes out late out of main, and CIS Hope kind of crumbling under pressure here.
So there's that swap that we were talking about. Kenzie going over to the Junkrat, and in that fight there alone was able to generate up that Riptire with little help from main, sustaining him long enough to make it happen. And look at Onigata's position here with the pulse bomb that he's holding on to. He was trying to find that one to open with. Kenzie looking for something with this Riptire as he's coming back into the fight, just sneaking his way around. It's going to be killed off by the whole hog. Elibot trying to get something done with the self-destruct, and now it's a return fire. Zhao's opportunity. He's been big before, but they won't find anything there either. Shark unleashed the Earth Shatter, but they're still not securing. Its ultimates abound on both sides, but nothing has been found just yet.
But it will be a big kill onto Unfixed, who's getting close to that Graviton, so maybe that could be what they need to finally get this last checkpoint in their belt, as we'll see Angry Titan still brawl it out. Lilzish gets Sharik, gets another one. The air shot is going to come out, secures the kill onto Aang. However, the Riptire is going to be pulled down once more. Doesn't find a kill, gets the D-suit at the very least onto Elivode. Main will not have that Coalescence anymore, and Unfixed coming back from spawn will catch two of them in that Coalescence, or rather in that Graviton, but the Coalescence will keep them safe, and as a result, Angry Titans might still do it, as we'll see Lilzish come from up top as he was displaced by that Junkrat, and I believe there, and now with the whole hog as well, everything in control for Angry Titans, as they will finish out that first round.
They looked good doing it too, and I think Lilzish looked even better. I mean, so far throughout, even the group stages, throughout the initial playoff bracket, he really did kind of look good, but I think these past two series, he's been a standout performer as he's been able to play the Reinhardt a little bit more. We've seen him really match up well against the opposition, where, this is a stacked tournament as far as I'm concerned, with all the talent that we have here in Overwatch Pit EU Season 2 now. This is where everything goes down. I mean, this is really incredibly stacked and packed with a ton of different players that are incredibly talented, incredibly mechanically skilled, as well as knowing how to, outsmart their opponents and everything. And it seems like time and time again, Lilzish is coming out on top. Been very consistent so far throughout today. I think more so than any other day, but if you can continue this, Angry Titans might be able to make a bid for working their way through the bottom side of the bracket and into a deep playoff run, maybe into a final scenario. But before we get there, they have to win this map, and now they have to defend. They have Erky, the point A, Pharah holds, and this is something that we've seen before, and we've even seen Unfixed pull it out, but they don't have anything to answer with. I mean, CIS Hope have Kenzie at the moment on a Genji with the triple tank, so Erky will more or less have a little space to work with. Now it's just about time. Can you have the time to work with? Because it does take a little bit of time to secure those first couple of kills to start shutting down that snowball. But Kenzie now going to be going over to the Widowmaker. If he can shut down Erky outright, this will be an easy push for CIS Hope.
We'll see whether or not he can make that happen, as so far we'll at the very least spot it out, and we'll make the swap over to the Roadhogs. So looking to play very aggressive with the rest of his team, just storm that point, get on top of it as fast as possible, and just force the opposition in a tougher position because of it, as you will see them collapse on set objective. Erky still using those shots. The charge is going to come through by Lilzish as he manages to stay alive, but not for long. Zhao picking up that kill, making it a 6v5, and even though you have that Fair in the skies, if it doesn't find the kills onto the supports, it doesn't matter, as Sharik gets a kill, another one with that charge onto Lude, a big one at that. Coalescence now being used by main. Will look to secure this team fight, but it's not over just yet, as Unfixed will get the D-suit and the kill with the help of Zhao onto Ellie, but the return will come out. Erky, though, with the rocket barrage, will not be too successful, and we'll see. Onigata still fighting it out on the point, does have the Graviton, and he's gonna commit, just try to buy as much time as possible, but this one's pretty much lost for them.
Yeah, literally gonna try to come into this fight, but he's gonna be
That's a
hooked
kill.
out. He's gonna be taken down, and they do get a kill on the Aang, but that's just not enough to get the ball rolling for themselves. Kinsey was on the Roadhog throughout that, and we saw Lolzish dying off pretty soon there. Unfortunately for him, he got caught off and isolated into a little bit of a corner situation where he tried to charge out but wasn't able to make it happen. But they're gonna get aggressive now as they come forward. Earthshatter ready for Lolzish. He's pacing out his shield well right now, looking for that opening to be able to catch this Reinhardt out of position and perhaps shut down this defense. He's looking for it now. Will be able to drop it, and he does indeed, catches 3. And now looking for these kills. This charge comes out. He's not going to be able to find anything there. They might actually get turned on now. Unfixed holding onto a Graviton, but they might not even need it to be able to find these last couple of kills. A good Earth Shatter from Lolzish, but not be able to find those eliminations in the end.
And very good discipline coming out of CIS Hope to make sure they don't overcommit, don't use that Graviton. And moving on forward here, they will have a good advantage in these upcoming team fights. So you're probably going to set up the likes of Aang on that payload, the Lucio duty here on it, as the rest of the team will be playing aggressive towards that spawn, and we'll try to hold them off as much as possible, rather, as Kins is gonna pop that whole hog. Sharik good to go once again with the Earth Shatter, and with so many ultimates lined up, not as many to answer here for the likes of Angry Titans.
And Onigod coming forward. They're going to drop a grab. It's going to be a grab duel as Onigod secures 3 kills there. One onto Zhao as well, as he was out of the mech trying to get some self-destruct image out. And I've so far liked the defense from Angry Titans because that last push that they had was before the checkpoint was reached where they start opening up the gates. So they could stall that time out a little bit. So if you look at where the payload is right now, there wasn't really a lot of distance covered, and now that they can start holding this archway again, start holding this choke down, which is gonna kind of benefit them to some degree, especially if they can break Shark's shield well here, they can pull this back quite a ways now.
And now, especially considering the fact that they popped that Coalescence, I said the whole hog really trying to enable Erky to push them away. Will pump the Dancer out of main with the Coalescence of his own, and a nice hook onto Erky, catching him off before he can regroup with the rest of his team. Means that it will have a 6v5 man advantage, but can they snowball this to an objective win? Kenzie gets another one onto Lolzish, and with a 6v4, this should be it. However, only got to get to go with that grab. Will he opt in to use it? Tries to get the D-suit, doesn't get it, gets killed off instead. Rest of his team will reset as Zhao picks up a triple, and it will be CIS Hope continuing on.
And they're gonna go forward, but so far there's already been 3 fights taken, and they've won 2 of them, and they've only gotten this far. So now as they're coming back in, this has really been all about just taking time off the clock, despite if they can win or not. And we see that Earth Shatter coming out. Yeah.
The combo with Aang there, just booping to him straight from the get-go, is gonna secure this team fight. However, quite a bit committed by CIS Hope outside of that Earth Shatter, the Sound Barrier as well as the Coalescence. So maybe a bit too much, but considering the fact that I would not expect Angry Titans to maybe get onto the point, we'll see whether or not they can speed boost to contest one last time. We'll try to do just that. Will be Ellie Road coming up from up top. Well, Graviton's gonna catch 2D. Shield was there to save the rest of his team for CIS Help with the Earth Shatter, but the counter coming out of Angry Titans is gonna be good, as they're gonna be actually cleaning it up here on that payload.
This is now the 5th fight that they've taken here. 2nd that they've won. But this is a phenomenal defensive style where they're able to just boost back together. They die together, they fight together, and that's important because it means that they're not being strung out. Very efficient defense. This is one of the first displays from Angry Titans that I've seen where it's been ridiculous how efficient they've played together. And I like to see this look from them because this just makes it even more competitive in the playoff bracket for us, especially now. But there's the Earth Shatter. It lays down Lolzish. They won't see him laying the rest of their team down anymore. Not here, not now. Angry Titans has Erky, though, in the back with the whole hog, looking for these kills. He already took out the off tank, now taking off the main tank, looking to clean things up. And they will back them out one more time. So now in this stage, they're 3-3, and they've taken so much time away. It's down to now 45 seconds, and when you're looking at this, you're pretty much saying it's virtually one fight left here now. Angry Titans have to hold out, or CIS Hope have to be able to shove it down their throats and make it into that final stage.
Considering they only really have Zhao self-destruct, to work with. He has been clutch in the past, but he needs to do it again here if his team is to get that checkpoint rolling. And the self-destruct is gonna be used, gonna displace some of those members, and nicely done by that tank lineup to really secure kill onto Lozich. But is it going to be enough? As Coalescence will be used, self-destruct, answering from the defensive side as it finds one onto Aang, a support at that, which will lessen that staying power. And now with the Graviton coming out, this should secure the team fight. It will be Angry Titans steamrolling once again, getting another win on the board to start it off.
Angry Titans on fire today, aren't they? They looked good throughout the group stage, but they're really firing on all cylinders now. Definitely exciting to watch this team progress through, and we've seen a lot of teams improving and stuff over the course of the tournament as they've gotten more time, but Angry Titans have really looked phenomenal today. Really like to see Lulstich popping off, everybody popping off right now, but we got another map coming. It's going to be map 2 coming your way after these commercials.
It does seem that Angry Titans are on fire today. They looked very good on this map, and I'm rather surprised that CIS Hope did so, to say weak on attack, because they showed better games on this map. I mean, at the end, it kind of cost their ultimate usage, kind of cost them the game, I'd say.
I definitely have to agree. The problem with that second point is if you get close to it but don't quite secure it, the walk back is long. And they had a team fight in the back and still committed the sound barrier and a lot more to really secure it, which they shouldn't have, and could have potentially been the turning point for them to secure the rest of the map.
Yeah, that is true, but I do feel like Angry Titans kind of came in last second there, to be honest. They were just about to finish the payload, and I think Diva came and Elivo came, and that changed the complete tide of the game, so to say. Now coming up next is Horizon. We've seen both of the teams play on it. Do you think this is going to go 2-0, or we might see another map?
Considering Angry Titans' current form, I would actually not be surprised if they take this 2-0, because Okay, we talked about the likes of Lulzish on that Reinhardt, but Erky, even on that Roadhog, was popping off himself, getting those hooks and getting those kills when it really mattered as well. And now that we will be moving on to Horizon, this is one of the maps where he was a standout in the past. So all things are aligned here for Angry Titans to potentially win it out.
Yeah, that is true. I think we might not see that much Reinhardt on this map, even though Lulzish was very effective on him, so to say, and I think he was the key player in my eyes why they're performing on such a high level today. Now, we've seen Afox on Sombra before, and I think he was doing very good on this map. Do you think they might pull up a Sombra again?
We have seen overall less Sombra play when it comes to Horizon in particular, but as you mentioned, Afox definitely one of the standout Sombra players overall. But at the same side, Unfix had pulled it out in the past as well, and the May to boot when it comes to these assault maps. So I think there's some room for both of the teams to bring out the likes of Sombra or May potentially.
Do you think that they need to snowball? If CIS Hope starts on their attack, do you think they need to snowball in order to push it to the third map?
I mean, considering it's assault, yes, especially since we're most likely going to see those quad tank compositions. You really need to make the most out of an ultimate advantage to secure it.
The match seems to be ready. Let's go.
Just starting things off here, triple tank defense with Kinsey on the Junkrat. We'll be seeing a tank strat coming out from the attacking side. Afox likely to make the swap over to the Moira, you have to imagine. I mean, he could stick to Zenyatta, but I would think that he would probably go to the Moira. It's just the standard pick right now in this current meta. But we'll see. Maybe they could give us a different look, and we'll see how that plays out. But looking at Kinsey now, all eyes are on this man here, as he is going to be charged with shutting down this attack, this tank-centric threat on the Junkrat. Can he get it done?
Will be a difficult task, as so far Angry Titans, as said, looking on point overall, on the same page. Will look to go through that small passage underneath the likes of Kenzie, who will look to regroup with the rest of his team now. Already on the point, so they don't want to give up any ticks right from the get-go. See Sharik posted up front, already engaging in those Ryan v Ryan battles. Lulzish dropping extremely low, however, he will manage to stay alive. So far, nobody going down on either side. Firestrike going through as well, as Sharik already at 62% towards that ultimate Riptide. Good to go as well. However, can it find the targets? Doesn't quite get a kill. It's going to be Kenzie who falls short, and with the 6v5, maybe Angry Titans can once again still put it out on top of Sharik, with not quite the best Earthshatter as well.
They will be able to get this more than likely here. Elevote snuck around, took the kill on Junkrat. That was a big opening for them because they didn't have as much damage to worry about for their tanks. Yeah, Lulzish fell, and he's going to be coming back on long spawn, but Angry Titans still secure this with a good time, and they have a couple of ultimates to pull away with, and they don't have to worry about that Earthshatter anymore. That's very important now, because as Lulzish gets one of his own pretty soon here, you're going to have a distinct advantage and control for this next section of the map.
It's going to be a tough task here, potentially, for CIS Hope, as the ult economy is in favor of the attacking side of Angry Titans, as they look to still play very aggressive here. Getting on the point, we'll have Onigod's Graviton good to go. He catches 4, Coalescence will be problem, but self-destruct is going to catch 2 more, and the combo coming out of Elivode with the likes of Loza just pulling that Reinhardt away makes it easy for Angry Titans to just open up big here on Horizon as well. Already 1 tick, make that a second one, looking to get a third, and oh man, Angry Titans seemingly unstoppable at this point, but maybe Kenzie's Riptire can have a say in that, as it's gonna look for those targets. Soundbarrier was used. However, Lulzish snipes it with a fire strike. A bit of a lacking self-destruct from the defensive side. However, it still gets Lulzish. In the end, Kenzie gets a kill, so maybe, just maybe, CIS Hope will keep the hope alive for his second point defense here.
But they have to deal with Onigod. He's just too charged up. The damage is coming from the Zarya right now, and they haven't been able to make any looks towards him. Graviton at the ready. He's going to get everybody into it. Loza should be coming back from the respawn soon here, and it looks like maybe they're going to be backed out, and they will indeed. After the Graviton collects them, they find no kills, and that will be Angry Titans backing up. But 2 ticks they were able to secure there, so really close. And what it really came down to was, as Shark came into that fight again, he initially would have been denied, but Unfixed put a projected barrier on him. They put a sound barrier out as well from Aang. Those were the 2 perfect skills to use in that situation to deny Lulzish that Earth Shatter play that came in and allow them to take that Reinhardt out of the equation.
And now Coalescence will be at the ready for Aafox, but main cancel with one of his Earth Shatter though. Doesn't quite find those targets. Coalescence will look to do a lot more work. However, Sharik is going to be the first one to go down. Graviton into that self-destruct. Reinhardt should be able to shield it off, however. Onigod's still going to be taken down, so CIS Hope keeping up with a good team fight here potentially. But Lulzish somehow in that engage finds Ang with another charge kill. I'd really like to see how many charge kill he's gotten today, because I bet it's in like the 6+ at this point onto those supports. So he will have that Earth Shatter at the ready. However, Kenzie will be looking to answer with a Riptire coming into this next push out of Angry Titans.
So that was just one of those pushes where they're trying to get ultimates to come out if they could. They didn't want to just commit anything, especially after that Graviton self-destruct came in. They were just wanting to hold on to everything if they could force that. Now starting things off with a self-destruct, they're going to go right in. That's going to allow some aggression to come out of Lulzish as he pulls out the Earth Shatter. Doesn't find as much with it as he would have liked. And there's going to be some return kills now for the defense. Sound Bay are going to be able to secure them as well. A great little shield come up to block off that hook that came from Erky. Dark doing a good job stepping up to the plate now for CIS Hope.
It's 2 really big kills because he got him right before that Sound Barrier finished casting, and as a result, getting that push halted. We'll see, however, the rest of those ultimates really be lacking on both ends, and Erky with another swap. This time around on that Junkrat will look to oppose Kenzie, have a better time when it comes to those battles. However, Lulzish playing aggressive is gonna get punished, but Sharik falls as well. Kenzie finds another, making it a 5v4 in favor of CIS Hope as they continue to hold with another good defense, and time will be slowly ticking away. However, Onigod with another Graviton will look to secure that final tick on that checkpoint.
Obviously, those picks matter for the defense here, and we started off so well, Angry Titans. We started off so well, but CIS Hope has shown up in such a big way here. Lulzish again getting aggressive, had that shield. We're going to be seeing Erky come into the back line, throw out a couple of little grenades down that way, and with the Graviton down, can they secure the kills? Riptire came out from Kenzie. He finds a triple with it. That will be easy for them to just go ahead, get aggressive, find those last 2 kills, or rather that last kill onto Elevode as everybody else pulls out of the fight. That's Ludi and Onigod able to get away, it looks like. And now the re-engage opportunity. We're up to 2 minutes now, just over. And so far, I mean, they have been putting a stop to all of these pushes. Onigod has the Graviton here, so maybe they can make something happen now.
We'll see a return fire out of Sharik potentially with that Earth Shatter, but it's gonna be difficult to do as Lulzish was on point with those barriers so far, making sure the rest of his team is safe. Graviton will be used, however, not really able to catch anyone, and as a result, Angry Titans maybe a little faltering right now as CIS Hope will answer with a Coalescence of their own. Lulzish really low, will be taken down. Earth Shatter is gonna be successful. Unfix pick up the first kill. Riptire gonna come out of Erky though as he punishes Sharik. Zhao's gonna lose his mech. Lude is gonna pick up a kill of his own, so maybe they can still do it. But Kenzie will have that Riptire looking for those kills. Gets one onto Lude, and now with nobody on the point, they need to get somebody there. Doesn't manage to do just so. And with 1 minute and 22 seconds remaining, Angry Titans get it in the end.
Despite quite an ugly Graviton that came out from Onigod, he didn't get anybody in it. He was worried so much about trying to control the point, clear it out so that they could just start controlling from there, and then also trying to simultaneously worry about getting it around the defense matrix should it come out, that he just threw it over to the side, hoping that they'd kind of just get pulled or walk into it. And obviously those 2 things did not happen, and they didn't even get really any control on the supports either. So because of that, it was nullified, but they were still able to get the job done. It's zoned off. It's a zoning ult, Brunch. It's a zoning ult. They zoned off the point, forced them to the edge, and then with the control that they had, they were able to just go ahead and kind of stomp them there. So effective zoning ult from Onigod on the Zarya, I would say. But now as they go over to the defense, looks like they're going to be starting off with a composition that looks all too familiar, I would say. However, Aafox going to be on the Ana, and looking back at his time and tenure with Vivi's Adventure, this was something that I really liked from Vivi's, you know, with Aafox in the mix before they had a different guy kind of doing the same thing, but when they started up Overwatch Pit, they had AFOX, and he was doing this thing with Vivi's where they had these gear shifts. I talked about it a lot, you know, over a year ago, or I guess under a year ago, you know, where he could play the Ana so proficiently and the Zenyatta so proficiently, and now the Moira, of course, as well, that, you know, they could easily just change the way that they play entirely based off of his particular pick on that flex support. And you see him up here on this, you know, opposite high ground of the rest of his team. He's going to be able to throw out a ton of anti-healing grenades, which is going to be big to shut down a quad tank attack. And I think this is going to be really smart. We'll have to see where they want to attack. Do they want to go left and lower, where they're going to be running into a Junkrat and some easy biotic grenades, or if they want to go up the high ground where AFOX is going to be the safest person that you've ever seen? There's the biotic to start things off.
So many of them purpled out. However, they will manage to stay alive for now. Aang still dancing around on that Lucio. Will be safe with the rest of his team, and as a result, rest of Angry Titans now forced to regroup.
Look at the nano boost.
They should still be good to go in this next team fight. As he said, already at 58%, 60% at that. Both Reinhardt splashing in the middle, looking to get an advantage. Sharik getting the worst stand out of it for now, as the Bionade is gonna keep Lozish safe. Will try to get a charge, is unsuccessful as Kenzie, the first one to get a pick off of that hook. And now with the Coalescence coming out, they might secure more Lozish under a lot of pressure. Bionade is not gonna be enough. And now with another kill onto Lude, it's gonna be CIS Hope just absolutely decimating the opposition on this point.
Because they have that extra little bit of speed, they can kind of control those fights a little bit more effectively with Aang speed boosting at times, giving them a little bit of opportunity to be the aggressors. And CIS Hope take that rather quickly, but they still have the Ana in play, and this is perhaps a better point for the Ana in general because you can keep it safer more often than not. And I think there was a couple opportunities there where AFOX set them out quite well. It just wasn't, you know, they didn't really execute off of it well as a team after the initial kind of play was set up. Didn't get sleep darts either from AFOX, so that's a little unfortunate for them. But now as we see them getting aggressive, coming back in, Whole Hog taken down, and now Biotic Grenade inside of that Graviton Surge, only finding the D-Mech of Zhao.
Oh, but
see if they can carry this through.
Secures the kill onto Unfix, another one easily done onto Sharik, and with that Coalescence just gonna seal the deal here for Angry Titans, as it will have a good defense, but 6 minutes remaining. We will definitely see CIS Hope still battling it out. They do have quite a few ultimates building up, whereas for the defensive side, only really Lozish potentially able to answer with an Earth Shatter, so it's gonna be tough for Angry Titans to keep it up.
An Elevote now on this Diva here. I mean, he's looking to try to gobble up Unfixed. We've seen a couple of these getting taken out of the picture. Graviton goes down, not going to be eaten up, and they throw it right onto Onigod and Lolzish. They need to find the follow-up damage to secure the kills, but they will not at all. Ultimates going out from both sides, but it's CIS Hope throwing out everything that they can to make it happen here, and they found a couple of kills to start this process off. AFOX under fire, has the nano boost, and he stays alive long enough to see if his teammates can get back in there, but they have to go quick. Nano boost coming out onto Onigod. He gets booped, and he can't get even onto the point. 506 Angry Titans. Wow, looking down and out right now.
Strike back and they strike hard, as they will have way more time to work with. However, we've seen how fast these takes can happen as displayed right now, but even in the past, even quicker. So it's Angry Titans definitely not out of it just yet. They'll have another shot at an offensive round here, but overall, considering the fact that they only have 1 minute and 22 seconds, if they lose that first team fight, that's going to be really big, because ultimate advantages should be forming up for the defensive side, and that distance that they need to cover to get back on the point could potentially be really make them be in a really bad spot overall in terms of their positioning as well.
We'll have to see right now as CIS Hope. We haven't seen that look from Unfixed where they put Kinsey on the Tracer and Unfixed on the Sombra just yet for their attack, but it could be a situation where they pull it out in their next one, where they have a lot of time, especially if they make a good hold right here. But so far, teams have really struggled to cap this first point, or sorry, struggled to hold this first point. I mean, very different. But that's, I mean, it's been something where the tanks have just executed, and you know, it's tough to take them down, especially when they get control early, and you know, they're able to really kind of control with the Lucio in play as well. So it's it's going to take some time for teams to defensively work things out. It's every time we see a meta shift, the attacking side always seems to have such a huge advantage, and then as things get figured out slowly but surely, you see the score lines start dropping lower and lower as defense starts getting worked out, strategies come out and start coming into play as well. Oh, what a boop there!
Beautiful displacement, but seems like it's not gonna matter too much as Kenzie's gonna go down as well. So it's a 1-for-1 trade, but without Lozish in that front line, it might make things a little bit too difficult here for Angry Titans. They should have him come back soon enough, but Kenzie able to come back from spawn potentially here as well. Will look to contest with the rest of his team as he will not be able to set up on the point just yet. So no ticks achieved, of course, for this attacking side of Angry Titans as they will look to engage finally. Contested now by Sharik in those front lines. It will be Elivot onto the side, so now being displaced once again by the mine will be so annoying here for the likes of Ricky 2 on that Roadhog, but Coalescence will be popped by Afox, looking to get an advantage. Charges are going to be unsuccessful for Angry Titans. Oh, Lozish barely managing to stay alive there as the Coalescence out of the defensive side will be good. Sharik gets that kill, and with the 6v5, this might just be what they need to secure this point.
10 seconds, the hook comes out, denied. Huge Riptire from Kenzie to take Urki out. So now they're waiting on Urki to come back. They're waiting on Lozish to come back. They have some ultimates and they have some bodies on the point to trigger that overtime. But can they make this work for themselves? We're going to be seeing Elivot taken out as well. This is cleanup. This is easy cleanup now for CIS Hope. Should be well on their way with 5 minutes to take this map and send us into a game number 3. But we'll have to see if they can get it done here. Overtime ticks down, and now they have 5 minutes to cap that first tick. Should be able to pull that off for CIS Hope. But now the question is, what are they going to be? What are we going to be seeing? What kind of look are we going to get from CIS Hope? This I guess you'd say the CIS team, because you know that's pretty much exactly what they are. What does that stands for? What does that stand for again? You ought to know.
It's the CIS region, just really being their hope with this lineup.
Commonwealth of Independent States. There we go. That's what I was looking for, because I know it's their region. I know that it's that group of countries there that they're all, I think they're all a part of. There might be one person that might be out of it. I know Russia's in it. What else? Who else is in this? Is there Ukraine maybe? I know that there's a lot of countries in there. I know there's a lot of people in chat that could certainly tell us as well, because I could see them typing in a language that I have no idea what they're saying. So they could yell at me in chat. Definitely hit me up. But always down to learn.
Now I'm really curious, as you said, whether or not they will pull out something like the likes of Sombra. Seemingly so far, it's not going to be their choice. And if you are Angry Titans, now they're going to be looking up to do a potentially heroic play here and hold things out for a draw, however unlikely. And as a result, if you are Angry Titans, you're going to look forward to that control map. Next up, it will be Oasis if CIS Hope takes it, or if you do have a draw. And Oasis has been one of the stronger maps for that lineup as well, so really curious to see how things shape up. But Urki off onto the side there, sneaky Roadhog once again.
And he gets a hook to start things off, but it's just jumped on really quick return fire as Sharik gets aggressive. He's going to be denied, and this is going to be an opening now for Angry Titans.
So far from the point, as they will look to finally engage, get something potentially done, as we'll not see that Reinhardt be available for defensive side, and the Earth Shatter is going to come through. Can it secure the kills? It gets one onto main, second one onto Kenzie, and Ang goes down as well. But that was really close. They were quite far away from that point and almost gave it up. Well, managed to come through in the end.
Sharik was already down. They were a 6v4 or 6v5. Wait, 5v4. What is math? 5v4 advantage already going into that. They got a huge burst initially. I really think that ideally they would have kept on to Lolzish's Earth Shatter if they could have. Really kind of focused down that Roadhog without the stun being necessary. And now they're going to come into this fight. They don't have that distinct advantage. Shark will eventually get his Earth Shatter, and this will become a really tough fight to take there, especially as he lays them flat.
Big one at that, and we will see the Coalescence also pick up a kill. Self-destruct will be used, however, it's going to be still Kenzie picking up Afox in the end. Only God has that Graviton, however, gets eaten once more. All these divas getting sated tonight, as we will see Urki pick up a kill at the very least onto Sharik. Kenzie, however, will return fire once again, and it should be CIS Hope bringing us to a third map on Oasis.
So we were going to go there either way. It was either going to be a draw going into it, or CIS Hope would have the map win. Now we know everything will be settled by this next map. It's Oasis. You talked before about how CIS Hope has looked good on that. You know, Unfixed has had a couple of good looks. We've seen good stuff from their tanks, especially Zhao has really stood out on that type of map as well. Now we're going to be going into a map that really CIS Hope, I think, has the advantage. They're already looking like they're making their way through, and we'll see that one on the other side of these commercials.
And we are back at the analysis desk. This is the CIS Hope we are basically used to seeing. They looked way more dominant in this match, and I'm glad we are going to see the third map. I do feel like Angry Titans could have maybe snowballed from the first point, but basically CIS Hope did some moves, especially Zhao, and he saved them from a bad time, so to say.
Most definitely, and as a result, keeping things interesting, getting us to our first control map of the day. It will be Oasis once again. And as said yesterday, we already saw CIS Hope coming up big on that one. Unfixed was really good on that Pharah. Would expect to see more of that today. And looking at the opposition with Angry Titans, I'm curious to see whether or not Erky is going to contest with a Pharah of his own, or if we're actually going to see Only God on that Tracer a little bit more, because I really think that swapping over to that Tracer potentially could have helped out in some of those moments.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen, as you said, Erky a lot on Pharah, but we have seen him on Junkrat and on University. That's a very viable pick. So we definitely...
The prime pick.
I feel like we are going to see it there, but if we have to analyze Pharah to Pharah battle, I would say Unfixed has the edge. We've seen him play. We don't know what Erky will bring. So still, I feel like it's kind of hard to predict who is actually going to come on top in this match.
It's going to be an interesting one, and considering Angry Titans, outside of this blunder, outside of this loss, have looked really, really strong, well coordinated, I think they're still going to keep it very competitive.
I do feel like Lulsish will actually have to bring his A game again and hit some Earth Shatters in order for his team to win. Because when he was doing those moves, they were basically winning the games. The match seems to be ready. Hurix and Brunch, take it away.
Starting things off here, Main, I imagine, is going to be swapping over to a Moira here, especially as their triple tank. So, yep, that's going to be the case. And it looks like we'll see the exact same composition mirrored on both sides. So now it's just going to be a battle of strategy, wits, and mechanics between these two rosters. Who can get that early start? We've seen swaps later on, but already you can see CIS Hope starting things off on the point. A quick reroute. Now Lulzish on there as well.
And we'll see both of them clash right in the middle. Both Reinhardt's pretty low, but Sharik getting the worst stand out of it for now. As you will see that projector barrack, if he gets booped out of position, and that's a big one at that, making it a 6v5 here for this team fight. And Coalescent should secure this first point take here for Angry Titans.
Oh, but gonna get a return kill. Onigod, that's a big opening. XD's off the charge, and Kenzie with the Riptire. They take down Lulzish, so now with the Zarya and the Reinhardt out of play, they can start looking at cleaning the rest of these guys up. Elivote now in the corner, stuck there outside of his mech as well. And this will be just a matter of time before Control will swap over in favor of CIS Hope. And Sharik now looking to try to get aggressive to try to secure this one here, as he's just beating down Lulzish here, who got booped up, but they actually find a kill themselves, and they're still holding on to the control point even throughout that entire fight. And now it's going to be CIS Hope pulling out of it.
And Sharik got booped down in that particular hole once again, and really unable to find too much success here is going to mean that, okay, Angry Titans will not only hold on to the point, but they have quite a lot of ultimates to work with, and Erky getting main in that engage is going to be big. However, the Graviton's going to be used. Self-destruct is going to make an easy potential kill. However, it's not really going to happen. It's only going to get the D-suit. Sound Barrier used now, and their counter grab from the other side. Sharik trying to get something done with the Earth Shatter will not be successful, and Angry Titans stay angry and stay on the point.
Stay angry indeed. Probably see some of that in the chat after you said that, but now as they're pulling back, they got the Riptire, they got the self-destruct, so a lot of explosive dynamics coming into play, and we will see Afox holding on to Coalescence, which is huge to be able to sustain in this fight. We saw how they could just hold out so well. Now we'll see if Shark and the rest of these boys from CIS Hope can get in there. Kenzie coming through with the Riptire. He's been pretty lethal with these so far throughout this tournament. And now Erky actually kills off Kenzie's Riptire with his own Riptire.
Getting a small advantage, more one of that, or rather, in terms of those mind games. But Elivote gets a self-destruct kill, and another one onto main at that, shutting him down with that Coalescence active. Lulzish is going to try and get something done off the Earth Shatter. Sharik is going to go down, and this should be Angry Titans once again winning out. And just seems like main has been targeted so many times. Even Lulzish pick up a double kill. We'll see main come on to the point, going down, and Angry Titans open up with a dominating win here on Oasis for that first round.
And you have to wonder why, when they had that opportunity right after the first fight, they lost, they re-engaged, they found that opening pick, they took down the Zarya, they took down the Reinhardt, they had a pretty strong advantage, I would say, and a great opportunity for them to get aggressive, get onto the point, start taking those kills, but they never did. They were very passive when they had that opportunity. You know, it just allowed just enough time for Lulzish and Onigod to get back onto the point, get back into the stage, and start lighting things up again, get control back in their favor. So you have to question, you have to wonder what was going on in their minds, what was actually happening that maybe we didn't see, for a reason as to why they didn't re-engage. Because in my mind, the way that I see it, and having casted a lot of tournaments at this level, and even you know, some tier 1 stuff as well, that's exactly what you always see, the aggression. Once you get that advantage, push it forward.
We'll see whether or not they're gonna be able to do just that this time around, as we'll see the fair battles commence. Erky looking to match Unfix right now with the likes of Afox on that Mercy as well. Both Tracers on the board. Onigod as well as Kenzie will be able to duel it out. So far, it will be main, the first one to go down. He's been targeted by Angry Titans so many times on Oasis, but Unfix answers with a kill onto Onigod. However, is it going to be enough? It seems like he gets another one onto Erky this time. However, an answer is going to come out of Elivote, and Afox being alive means that he will manage to go ahead, cast that Resurrect, and get his teammates safe and back online.
That Resurrect was huge because they did have a slight advantage, but that secured it there. He's keeping everybody alive, was able to get a ton of healing off in that fight, and now coming away from it, not only do they have Valkyrie, which is going to be huge for them, but they also have Ludi's ult in the sound barrier, and they're very far ahead in terms of the pace that they've been able to get these ultimates up. Pressure was on main early on, and that gives them a huge advantage in this next coming fight.
And we'll see if they can at the very least force some ultimates from the side of Angry Titans here for CIS Hope, because we'll see the pulse bomb go through, not able to find any targets for now. Valkyrie will be used as a result by Apox, and we'll look for an advantage. Unfix is good to go with the Rocket Barrage, however, and we'll see whether or not he's going to look for a target with that. Sound Barrier used by Lude as well, but we'll see an answer rather coming out of Eng with a Sound Barrier of his own. So far, no real advantages on either side. Zhao, though, losing his mech soon enough. Maybe Erky gets a kill onto Sharik. Unfix answers with 1 kill of his own. And now with Rocket Barrage will look to get more. Losish is going to go down. Apox finds that kill onto Unfix. And the Resurrect as well. And Angry Titans pull ahead with another team fight win.
And Oni got unanswered in the backline, too. They just can't get away from him at all. They figured that they might be able to keep the Mercy safe by keeping Unfixed up there, and Unfixed is good on Pharah, but when everything else is crumbling, when Erky is having a great performance as well, it just becomes that much more difficult. Now, as you're already down 1-0, this is the final map, you're already down 70%, this is where the pressure starts getting tough.
And then we will have those 2 tank ultimates available. If Sharik can once again combo with Zhao, could be big, but Onigod getting a kill onto Kenzie is going to enable this potential hold to be extended, as it's already at 84% for Angry Titans, and gonna have to regroup and come in for, at the very least, potentially one more team fight here if you're CIS Hope. And not really anything available in terms of those support ultimates, but as said, if Zhao can once again come out big, come out with a clutch play with the self-destruct, it could be enough. But Valkyrie will be used by Afox. Pulse Bomb doesn't find a target. We'll see them look for something here as Sharik is gonna open up with a prime rage of his own. Unfixed gets to the D-suit. Can he get anything else? As Afox still alive in the sky. Self-destruct will be used. Sharik gets another one, and maybe CIS Hope finally get a team fight that they were looking for.
They will finally flip it, get their first percent on the board so far through Oasis. And we talked before about how Eichenwald and Oasis were probably the maps that CIS Hope looked the best on, but it's completely the opposite here that we've been seeing displayed. And I think that's largely in part because this is not the same CIS Hope that we're used to seeing. They just don't look like they're going off the same way that we usually see them, especially like yesterday where they had such a great performance. But now as they come forward, they have an opportunity here to make things count. Can they turn things back around? Ludi already got the D-Mech onto Zhao. Losish will just knock him right off the map. Get that kill as well. With Erky now going forward with that Pharah barrage ready to go. He just needs to get a little bit of damage off. If Unfix can actually deny him, that'll be an opportunity, but I just don't see it happening, especially as he falls, man.
Even Afox getting that Mercy, the Mercy battle. Bloodthirsty supports as Overtime's gonna kick in. Nobody on the point, and Angry Titans will advance for, at the very least, a third spot secure. GG.
So they're going to be moving on forward. Angry Titans looking good, looking as good as ever, actually, making their way into the lower final. We still have a few matches to seek out, though, because the upper final, then the lower final to finish, and then the grand final after that. So 2 more days to look forward to, but Angry Titans today looking quite good, making a statement in the lower bracket.
A dominant way for Angry Titans to close this one out. I'm actually amazed how well they played throughout today, basically.
For sure.